Good morning. I'm Andrea Lane with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Ambassador Real Estate, and this is 30 Minutes with a Realtor. And I'm excited today because I get one of my favorites, Van Deeb, getting to come in here to present those topics to you. We've got the dry erase board so we can make some notes and kind of come back to stuff. And then I've got my phone, which I don't usually do, but we're going to leave it open just in case if you comment something or a question that we can see it right away and that we can answer the question that you have. And then if we don't get time for it, because it is only 30 minutes and it goes really quickly, that we have a chance to get back to you for something that you have a question on. So welcome, Van.
Thank you, Andrea.
Van, you've been in real estate
39 years.
And you started when you were 10. That's amazing.
Thank you. I'm not worthy. I'll buy you a new car for saying that.
There you go. So 39 years. And so I know right now for some people who are in this market, it's a lot of unknowns and it's a lot of like scary stuff.
Yeah.
But those of us who've been in the business, you know, kind of longer than that 5-year period know that that pendulum swings back and forth.
Yes.
And so what is a seller's market now will eventually swing back into being like a level market and more into a seller's market.
And you know, I just heard this morning that new mortgage applications are down 31% from last year.
Oh, wow.
So in my opinion, I've never tried to predict where the market's going in my 4 decades being in it, but we go up and down.
Right.
And it's just a fact that for the new people that are in it and people that are trying to reinvent themselves and to press the reset button, if you master the 4-letter word, WORK, you're always going to be successful. Always. You're depending on no one, not the market, not any conditions. You're depending on your discipline and your work ethic.
So and it's interesting that you said these are new applications that are down.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about refinancing. We're talking brand new applications.
Brand new applications this morning on CNN, CNBC. According to the National Association of Mortgages, or Mortgage Association, they're down 31% for new applications from last March.
So it's kind of showing
Well,
those
look at that.
applications. I mean,
yeah.
I would say interest rate is probably one factor.
Interest rates is probably a factor. It's gone up, a point in the last month and a half. Now they're quoting 5.1. But here's what I think. We go in cycles.
Right.
And we as real estate agents can see it instead of listening to the news. When you can continually see back on the market, price reduced. Days on market is not 24 hours anymore.
Right.
I remember back in the day in the 90s when I had Deeb Realty, we used to brag that we had the lowest days on the market in the entire Omaha MLS, and we bragged about 41 days.
Right.
If you
you should say that again. 41 days.
Yeah, we bragged about it. We put it in all of our print. If you list your house with us, it'll only be on the market an average of 41 days.
Right, and now you're like less than 48 hours.
Yeah, I mean, now if you go and tell a seller, hey, I can sell your house in 41 days, they're going to tell you to hit the road.
Right. I know, and I actually used that example with some buyers a couple weeks ago where I was like, guys, you know, I remember when we were excited to have us showing in 48 hours or a week or 21 days, you know,
and you jumped on them. I mean, you're calling that realtor, getting feedback, and what can we do to make this work? And yes, the seller will paint this room, and don't be afraid to ask for closing costs.
Right, and it's just not the market that we're in.
Right.
And I think that's a large part of that diminished application process is that some of the traditional stuff that we're seeing. Because I know I've had a lot of buyers just get frustrated with having to compete multiple times, just feeling defeated. What would be some advice that you would give to a new buyer as far as contracts right now, or maybe even the agents who are representing them, as far as advice you would give to them, you know, kind of keeping steadfast on?
So you know, as you get older in the business, me going on my 40th year, your tolerance level goes down.
I will agree with that.
And so you want to be successful for your clients now more than ever. And so I'll sell maybe 5 to 6 homes a year because I've got to stay in this business. I love it. It's my passion. If I sell 5 homes a year, I'm jumping up and down because I'm staying in the business and I get to be around. I got to do a deal with you this year.
I know, right?
So if anybody wants to do business with a really great professional real estate agent, Andrea Lane is good.
Oh, thank you.
You were awesome to do business with, and I'm very grateful for you.
Well, it was interesting because to kind of take us back a little bit was Van and I actually met before I was a realtor. Back when I worked in radio, I actually wrote some of your commercials and voiced some of them for your show on K-Car.
Yes.
That you used to do on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
You did a whole hour show.
Yeah.
And we actually sat down a couple of times just kind of talking about some of your topics or things that you guys would discuss. So that was how we originally met. Just as I got my
20
license.
plus years ago.
Not quite. I'm hitting 16.
1 year ago.
Right, 1 year ago. So 16 years ago, and then all this time before we actually got to do a deal together, which was super fun because we got to do a deal in Bellevue, which is my hometown.
Yep.
So that was a lot of fun, and a super fun property on top of it. I'll make sure to show you some of the pictures because my client is completely rehabbing that house, and it's
I would love to
gorgeous.
See it. So to go back, to answer your question about what we should prepare our buyers for when you're trying to help them get a house in today's market.
Right.
I'm a big fan of transparency.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of being very straightforward. Those of you that know me know that I don't have a filter. I'm respectful, but I don't have a filter. But I sit down with my buyers and I say, if you are truly wanting to buy a house and not just look,
right,
this is what you've got to do. Now, I'm telling them, about paying over list, accommodating. The first thing I do when I have a buyer that's interested in a property, I call the seller's agent, the listing agent, and I say, what is their ideal day that they want to move out? I want to know as much as I possibly can of how we can accommodate the seller. I mean, if they say they don't want the trampoline in the back or they don't want this, fine, we'll do what we have to do. I will never tell a buyer not to get an inspection. Absolutely not. But if they ask me, should we get an inspection? I say I always recommend inspections.
And I think that's the hardest part right now.
Yeah.
Is that it's not that we don't want to do the inspections, but the nature of the market right now is that a lot of buyers are waiving them to get their offer accepted.
You've got to put yourself in their shoes. So I turn it around with my buyers. I say, okay, let's do this. Let's pretend you're a seller.
Right.
I'm going to bring you 10 offers.
Yep.
9 of them are going to have inspections. 1 of them's not, and it's over full price. Which one are you going to accept? And I put them in this. I ask my buyers to think like a seller.
Right.
And not to be cocky, but my buyers usually end up getting the deal because I'm not going to waste my time. If I have somebody say to me, please help me find a house, I ask them questions. If they're not willing to go over list price, and if they're not willing to do what it takes to get the house, I'm not their guy.
Right. Well, I think that's hard because there's a lot of parents I find right now who are helping their kids buy. And I think what happens is there's a disconnect with when mom and dad bought a house 15 years ago and you could get closing costs and you could get an inspection. One of the things I've been recommending is even on a pre-inspected house is, hey, if you get the deal accepted and we close, you can always do that home inspection afterwards. And if that helps you discover, so one of my guys did it because he said, hey, I'm going to be in this house for the next 4 years. It gives me stuff I can work on for the next 4 years that, if there's anything that needs to be fixed or gives me an idea. And then also because a lot of the home inspectors have the little sections in their home inspection book that is just like general maintenance for a house because a lot of these first-time home buyers, I've had a couple of my buyers, they're brand new to the market is insanely fast, and then boom, you're in a contract. And they're like, well, how do I do a furnace filter? How often should I check the water heater? What happens, one of the biggest ones I've learned recently is, even if you have a 75-degree day in January, you keep your heat on until it's over 40 degrees consistently. Because I had somebody that shut their heat off and forgot.
Oh.
And we had an issue, but it was a first-time home buyer who didn't know that these are some of the things that you should do. Just as
Inspections are good all the way around. It's important. I mean, and we're not inspectors.
Right.
So we don't want to put ourselves in that position.
Right.
So I definitely recommend them, if you can get the deal and still get an inspection, then get it.
Well, and what I'm hearing too is a lot of communication. Like communicating with your buyers, communicating with the other agent. So, and there was a couple agents here this morning that was kind of a hard part, was we're seeing some of these, and they're not always newer agents, like afraid to talk to other agents. Like you'll text them and say, hey, want to find out if your seller has a desired closing date, so that we can be accommodating to your seller and be as flexible as we can. I mean, that would, I guess, be more directed to the agents themselves. Is I don't understand a fear of communication in the transaction, because I think it benefits everybody. It benefits you as a listing agent to your seller. It benefits you with your other colleagues who this may not be your only transaction.
And it's time to put your salesman shoes on. I mean, if you're lucky enough to be a salesperson and have a real estate license, you're going to be a rock star. If you're not a salesman or no salesmanship skills, I highly recommend you learn them if you want to be uber successful in real estate. But
what would you say is top 3 salesman skills?
Well, one of them is communication. And I know when I am working with a buyer and they're interested in a home, I am going to do everything in my power to make the listing agent want to work with me.
Right.
And I have to use salesmanship skills. It's not a lie. It's just being honest. But if I don't let them know how I'm feeling, how are they going to know?
Right.
You can't keep it a secret.
Right.
So I'm not afraid to say to you, if we do a deal together, it's going to be the easiest deal you've ever done.
Yep.
Because I want to make sure you know that by taking my to encourage your seller to take my buyer's offer, it's going to make your life easier.
Right.
Because I'm the guy, and so I have to come through. So I'm very proud of the fact that all the years I've been in real estate, and you know this, if you needed something from me, how long did it take me to get it to you?
Oh, not long. Shoot, you said, oh, I don't need that. I said, I'm sending it to you anyway.
Yeah.
And I sent it to you,
Yeah.
and I sent the document. You're like, I didn't need it. I was like, I know, but just so you have it.
Yeah, so if we
Right.
do that with each other, because you're the same way, if I needed something from you, you were on top of it. Well, does that make you want to work with me?
Absolutely.
So we have to accommodate not just the seller, but we want to accommodate the listing agent.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So number 2, so communication number 1. What's number 2?
Be passionate about what you're doing. Be passionate. Let everybody know that this is your passion. That being in real estate is your passion. Here's what my goal my entire career has been. And it's the same thing when I go do public speaking coast to coast. I want people to feel like they're missing out if they don't do business with me. You can go use any other realtor on the planet, but you're missing out if you don't use me. And that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I don't believe that now, in this building where we're at, is there hundreds of incredible agents, a heck of a lot better than me? Absolutely, including you. But if I don't make my customers feel like they're missing out by not using me, why would they use me?
Right.
It's just like Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Walt Disney said that I want to make their experience so magical that they want to see it again and again and again. That's how I want my customers to feel.
So 1, communication. 2, showing your passion. What's number 3?
Respect. Showing clients that you respect them. Now, I want to tell you something. I'm old-fashioned, but old-fashioned's worked for me. I dress up. I dress up when I'm with clients. Why? Not just for me. Could I wear a t-shirt and jeans? Yeah. And this is what works for me. I'm just saying, I never want to give a client a reason to think I'm not professional. And I know when I'm dressed up, it puts me in a higher gear on a professional level. It just does. When I look the part, I feel more professional. So third one is respect. I respect my clients. I've got so many friends in Omaha, and they'll say to me, God, Dave, you don't need to dress up when you're showing me houses or when you're going to list our house. I do it because I respect you. You know, this is the biggest investment of your life. I'm not going to show up in a t-shirt and jeans like I'm just on my way to the gym. So I really believe in this is not a statement, ladies and gentlemen. This is a fact. The better you look, the more business you're going to do. Fact. End of story.
See, that would be the only thing I slightly disagree. Not that
A lot of people disagree with me.
Well, no. I mean, in the sense that my clients all ask, do you want Realtor Andrea to show up, or do you just want me to come show you the house? And they're like, we don't care what you look like, just come show us the house or list the house. You know, like I always show up, you know, ready for the listing appointment, so forth. But then I've had my friend Andrea, who, when she messaged me on Facebook that night, and she's like, hey, I know we were supposed to talk about listing my house. She goes, would you have time to meet tonight? And I was like, sure, but I'm not dressed up right now. She's like, I don't care, just come over. And I was like, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I went over in a t-shirt and yoga pants, and she's like, I don't care what you look like. She's like, I care about what you can do to help me sell this house, make it the most, you know, easy process.
I agree with that too. I agree with that too.
But it's communication, right?
It's communication. But to me, I never ever want somebody to think that I don't take my business seriously.
Sure.
And you know, if there's some people that say, yeah, he really doesn't look the part to sell me a $2 million house, or the opposite. I'm going to err on the side that I know is going to be, you know, more respectful to my client. But like I said, I'm old-fashioned, but it's worked for me.
Sure.
There's a reason why I could retire at 45 and I didn't. So all the things that I do works. It's a guarantee, it's not a maybe. If you follow some of the principles that I believe in real estate, you're going to get to where you want to go quicker.
Absolutely. So top 3 things for your salespeople are communication, passion, and respect. And I would almost take respect to another level that I feel that a lot of agents are forgetting right now, which is agents are forgetting to respect each other.
Ooh, good point.
Because I think emotions are very heightened right now.
Yeah.
Because of how fast transactions are. The moment a house goes up, you have to go see it. Mm-hmm. You know, even when you're the listing agent, and everybody kind of forgets that listing agent's also working with buyers. Yeah. And so, you know, but to be able to have some systems in place that help them, in my view, respect us as other professionals. Like if I text you because you set up showings with you mm-hmm. instead of a showing service, then that expectation is there that, you know, hey, you should respond to it. And then we're seeing a lot of that not happen because of the market.
You've got to look at other real estate agents as your customers.
Right.
I've always done that. It's like when I had my company, we had 350 agents before it turned into Nebraska Realty. And our goal is I looked at the agents as my customers. I figured if I can treat these agents like my customers, then they're going to hit a home run. That's how we've got to treat our fellow professionals. Is if they text you, text them back. They're not texting you for the heck of it. Their customer has a question.
Right.
And I totally agree with you that we have got to show our teammates. And I look at Berkshire, I look at all the other companies, Better Home and Garden, Nebraska Realty, my company, Big O. We're all on the same team.
Right. We're all trying to get to the same place.
We're all on a level playing field, so we all got to work together and to help each other. I can't tell you how many times I've helped newer agents because they couldn't get their help from their superior,
right, from
their supervisor or manager or whatever. And I look at things like this. If you have the ability to help somebody in our industry, you have the responsibility. Mm-hmm. And Absolutely. Guess what they're going to do the next time they get a buyer and they see that you've got a listing? They're going to bend over backwards to try to sell it because they know that you're enjoyable to work with,
right,
and that you respect them.
And to me, I think that's a huge part right now, is that mutual respect. Mm-hmm. And I think it just helps everything kind of calm and
But
go
this is,
smoother.
but this is unprecedented times. I mean,
It is. And eventually we're going to be back to
Yeah.
a more even keel.
Agents that are struggling with treating other agents better, da da da. I feel you. I mean, it's an unprecedented times when you get 30 offers in, or 20 offers, and you get all these showings. It's hard to give great service to your fellow real estate agents when you've got your phones blowing up. You know?
Right? Right. And it's, yes. And it's,
You got to do the best
sometimes
you
you have
can
to
do.
stop
Yeah.
and be like, take it back in,
Yeah.
just relax. Okay, now I can go and respond to them. And setting up some of those rules. Like my husband will tell me in the morning, hey, you left the phone in the bedroom. I was like, nope, I'm coming out to have coffee before I touch that phone and before I respond to anybody, because I want to make sure that I'm not like super grumbly in the
Yeah.
morning and that text comes across really angry.
Oh yeah.
So that it goes smoother. So, and I love how we kind of, move into that, which is this style of market isn't going to be here forever. And eventually we'll get into where we're back to some of the same characteristics that we had before. It's just not going to be today. And so it leads me into one of the other questions we got asked was, so one of my clients said, what about investing in other states? And I was like, well, it seems to be very big. Like the VRBO market is really heavy, especially in places like Florida and so forth. But every state is feeling this low inventory. And so that was one of the things I said to her. I said, the hardest thing is that those, like the deal, like I kind of feel like anything on HGTV right now that says, we got this great deal on a house was like 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and they were just now airing it because certain areas just don't have like what I refer to as the deal. Would you agree?
Right. Yeah, I do. And like I said, I've got to go back. I'm a little old-fashioned. I don't like challenges that are unforeseen, and I'm not a candidate to own property. I have a property in another state, but I don't have it as a rental. It's my second home.
Okay.
But I had a dozen properties in Texas, in Dallas, that I tried to manage from Omaha.
Okay.
And I'm just, I'd rather be able to touch it, see it, and feel it, and know that it's being taken care of.
Okay.
But I know a lot of people that are killing it in other states buying rental properties, so there's no wrong answer. I just know that do what you're most comfortable with. If you want to own real estate, you can find real estate in the city that you live in.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably going to get a much better opportunity because you can research the market and you know if you're getting it priced right or not.
Right now, yeah, because right now it's not necessarily the deal you get; it's the deal you think you got. I credit that to you, Francisco. He was like, it's not the deal you got; it's the deal you think you got. So it's and that's some of what I tell my buyers right now, because everybody's like, well, am I overpaying for it?
Yeah.
Well, right now everybody,
Yes.
everybody feels like they're overpaying for it. So and it's that idea that it's a hurricane and there's one case of water. So
That's right.
what that case of water that's $3 right now is like
Yep.
100.
You got to be transparent. Like I said earlier, I had a buyer that I had been working with, believe this, 12 years.
Oh wow.
12 years. He'd get close, scared to death to own real estate. Scared to death, but I didn't bug him. I just put him on my MLS search, and property come up, and he'd look at maybe 5 houses a year. Finally, last December, we found a house. I was like, you got to be kidding me. You want to really buy it? You want to write an offer?
Now you're like, of all the years, this is.
And he said to me, is this price worth it? And I didn't hesitate. I looked at him, and this is a guy I've been with for 12 years. Most realtors would say, yes, just buy it. But he said, Van, is the price on this house worth it? And I said, absolutely not. And I said, just shut up. And he goes, but I really like it. And I said, then buy it.
Right.
I said, the majority of the purchases that are going on today, they're paying over what we think it's worth.
Right.
But it's the enjoyment. It's the fact that you're going to be a homeowner.
Yeah, you're not paying somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah,
That's what
and
we
he's
use. Yeah.
thrilled to death. He is thrilled to death. He got it. And anyway, so we've got to be transparent and let people know the truth. If you don't feel it's worth it, in my mind it's not, but it's
not for me.
It's not for me, but the thing is you're going to own a home.
Right.
Somebody's going to buy this house for this price.
Right. And I would say that's the biggest, is that, you go through and they're like, oh, is it worth it? I'm like, well, it's not whether it's worth it to me, it's whether it's worth it to you. And know that somebody else is going to feel it's more worth it.
If it makes you happy, it's worth it.
Right.
And today it may not be at the price that it's worth, but who knows what it's going to be like. If history repeats itself, it's going to be worth a lot more in time.
Right.
You know, when in time. And here's the thing I love about Omaha is I've been through 4 bad cycles, bad economic turns, recessions, and Omaha flatlines. We do not take the dips.
Right, that the big cities do.
We do not take the dips that the big cities do.
Nope.
I want to tell you something. Those of you that are just getting in real estate, or those of you that are excited to maintain your career, Omaha is on fire. I served 2 terms as a planning commissioner for the city of Omaha. The stuff that is coming down the pike here in Omaha, of new companies coming here, new buildings. If you're in real estate and you can master the 4-letter word, WORK, you're going to be financially set, because this city's on fire. So you'll never need to worry unless you worry about your own ability to work.
Well, I think that's a big factor right now, wouldn't you say? Is everybody's like, oh, is Omaha a great place to buy in? Is this a good market? And again, it falls under why you're here, how long you're going to be here, the things that you're looking to find here. Is that, so I have a friend who's a realtor in Florida, and in Florida, they'll have a dip of 50,000, 100,000, where that's where they're losing value.
Yeah.
Where we never see it bottom out like that. And so, and I know there's some people who are like, oh, I'm waiting to buy until the market crashes. I'm waiting till these are back at 140,000. And I'm like, these aren't going to be at 140,000.
I think that's good advice.
That mean purchase price has increased
you're
for first-time home buyers. Thank you.
Yeah,
but I think people don't.
It's 250,000.
Right.
258,000 is the median price. Are you kidding me?
Of a first-time home buyer.
I know it. I remember back when they were 80.
Right, that was my
70.
first house. My first house was $77,000.
I got to tell you this to your audience. When I started selling real estate, if I wanted to show your listing, we had no lock boxes, no multiple listing, no anything. If I wanted to show your listing, I had to come to your office, get a key.
Oh my gosh.
Go show it to my customers, and then bring the key back to you.
Can you imagine having to do that right now? Agents don't even want to just text you really quickly. Yeah, you can go. And you're talking about, I had to actually go see you in person, had to get the key from you.
And you did not put a sold sign on when you sold it. You put pending, because you didn't know if they were going to be able to qualify for the home for 2 or 3 weeks.
Sure.
So there'd be a pending sign up, because there was no pre-qualification. You didn't do any of that stuff. You just crossed your fingers and hope they
said
qualify.
Some prayers and said, let's just go to the finish line.
So life is here's the thing. I want to just give you.
I don't like the pending for sold signs, because we talked about this at an education conference, where in real estate, when it comes to communication, sometimes as realtors we use too much of our verbiage. It's like when my husband starts talking computers, and I'm like, I have no idea what he's saying to me. Pending is a word we use. Even under contract, I found buyers don't understand what does under contract mean. Well, under contract means the seller has accepted something,